Hello and welcome to another edition of Between the Ropes TV. Guys, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel. We've got plenty of content coming up this week, plenty of reviews and plenty of previews as well to come. Guys, I'm just going to go straight into this one. I'm going to be talking about the Chocolatito versus Julio Martinez card that we just had on DAZN. Great card. Great action all throughout the card. Terrific. And I'm just going to break down the main fight. I thought it was a vintage performance by Chocolatito. Absolutely incredible performance. It was a great fight going into it. And like I said, it will be like a matador against the bull. The matador being Chocolatito with all the silky skills on the inside and the outside. But also the matador in terms, the bull in terms of Julio Cesar Martinez. He's very physically strong. He's a great puncher. He's lively. He's got quite decent footwork as well. But in my opinion, watching that fight, Chocolatito rolled back the years. He still proved he's still an elite fighter. He's still a pound-for-pound fighter. And he proved that he's one of the best inside fighters in the sport. He completely took the fight to Martinez. Yeah, he was the physically bigger guy, but don't forget, Martinez was coming into this fight as a puncher. I had Chocolatito as the favourite, but Roman Gonzalez showed why he's still a pound-for-pound fighter. I think he's been written off a lot since that loss against Ring Versailles and the controversial loss against Estrada. But he showed even in the Yafai fight that he wasn't finished. For me, it was the way he didn't give Martinez any space to do his work. From round one, he was straight on his chest, hands held high, walked him down, picked his shots, targeted the body, went upstairs, up and down, lovely variation. Round the shots, he countered Martinez well. I don't think Martinez really knew what to do with him. I had Chocolatito winning every single round. You could have argued there was Martinez could have potentially won the first round, or I think there was another argument for him winning round two. But for me, Chocolatito was a clear winner in the sense that some of the shots Martinez was throwing were just landing on the gloves of Chocolatito, which were like earmuffs. They were just glued to the top of the head. What Chocolatito has, and if you want to learn how to box on the inside or learn the art of inside boxing, watch Chocolatito, because he does it effortlessly. Watch his feet as he encroaches to get closer to his opponent, but then he still has enough distance where when his opponent hits him, he's taking those stings out the power punches, they're catching him on the gloves, and then he's still effectively within range to land his own counters and his own shots and to do his own flurries of combinations. The subtle things that he does when he's in those positions is absolutely a delight to watch. He's a terrific fighter. And he turns 35 this year as well, and there's still a lot of life left in him. Martinez, he can come back. He can come back from this. Of course he can. Whether he goes back down to his natural division, regroups and goes to Unify down there. I know he came in heavy at this fight, but I think that's lack of discipline. I get that impression from Martinez. What I didn't like from Martinez is he ran out of ideas. Albeit he wasn't against the great, but he did run out of ideas, and he did look as though he was a bit one-dimensional in there. I would have liked to have seen him target Gonzalez's body a bit more, vary shots a bit more, use some angles. I've seen him, for example, look at him when he fought Charlie Edwards, really use his feet to get angles to really open up the shots from all different angles against Charlie Edwards. And I know it's a no contest, but he destroyed him. But Chocolatito's no Charlie Edwards. That's no disrespect to Charlie Edwards, who's a good fighter. But I would like to see Martinez against somebody like Sonny Edwards. Sonny Edwards, who uses his feet really, really well, who goes missing in a 20-foot ring. That's the type of fight I want to see Martinez in to kind of put himself back out there. Chocolatito, he can go for the Estrada fight. Does he want to go in for Nonito Donaire? Possibly. But there's some real big options for him. It was a terrific win. Great performance for him. Lara versus Sanchez. Wow, 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 wow! What a war that was for the 3 rounds it lasted. It was an interesting one because the two of them didn't want to take a step back, and Lara kind of he looked wild. I thought, I mean, I had him winning, you know, the first 2 rounds, but his left hand looked predictable. It looked as though he was telegraphing that, but he did catch and stun his opponent. You know, he got the knockdown in the first round, and you could argue that Sanchez got a little bit lucky to escape that. You know, he kind of got saved in the second round. He took control, and he looked strong. He looked physically strong, particularly on the inside. He's a good little inside fighter. I'd just like to see a little bit more feints. I like to see him vary the shots more, vary the power, because in the third round, Sanchez started to come back into the fight, and at one point, he hurt Lara to the body, and Lara was all over the place. You could sense that because Lara tried to hold. He should have had a point deducted because he blatantly had to grab a hold of Sanchez's left hand, and he almost dragged Sanchez to the opposite corner, the neutral corner. He fell down on the floor. He wanted the referee to pick him up, and he looked spent. He looked spent, and I was just sitting there thinking, well, the reason why he looks spent is because he's been loading up for the first 2 rounds, but he got back into it. He got his second wind. He caught him with some beautiful shots, and he finished him off. So he proved he's a good finisher. So I think if you go to war with Lara, you've had it. But there were signs in that fight. There were signs of his predictability, his wildness. He's very raw. He was knacking in the third round. He's fighting with his mouth wide open. I don't know, and that's why I said it'd be interesting to see him in with somebody a little bit more polished. Put him in with somebody like Jordan Gill. Jordan Gill's proved that, you know, he can be outboxed, outfought, and then come back into a fight. But he's also proved that he can box. In terms of opponents, take out Josh Warrington. Jordan Gill's resume is no different from Lara's, so that'd be an interesting matchup. Jazza Dickens, put him in with Jazza Dickens. Jazza can box a little bit as well. There's lots of people there at featherweight that put Lara in, and having him on the zone really gives him that options in terms of who he can be in with. So in a way, I'm excited to see Lara and see when he's next out. You know, if Kiko Martinez gets beat off Josh Warrington, put him in with Kiko Martinez as well. That'd be an interesting fight. So there's plenty of options out there for Lara. He's going to be an attraction. It was nice to see him out in the state. Over that way. And I like to see him back on these shows, to be honest. But yeah, that was a terrific fight. But the last fight I wanted to touch upon and review was Sissoko against Valenzuela. Sissoko's an interesting fighter because he is, you know, he is very patient. He's quite skillful. You can tell he's got a great amateur background by his footwork, the way he moves around the ring. He almost glides around the ring. He is effortlessly in his footwork. But I really like this performance. Again, he got put down in this fight, like he got put down in Conway. He got put down in round 4, but he grew into the round and he put down Valenzuela with a beautiful right hand. In my opinion, Sissoko couldn't miss with a right hand throughout the whole fight. And I like to see Sissoko a bit more aggressive. His 1-2s was terrific. His jab and his backhand worked a treat in this fight. What you would do is he would feint, hit him with a jab, set up the right hand, and then be on his bike before Valenzuela knew what to do. It worked time and time and time again. Valenzuela just looked like a slow, plodding, one-dimensional fight like that. Could only have success if you stood and traded with him. At some point in round 10, round 11, Valenzuela was getting really frustrated, had his hands down, and was almost begging Sissoko to engage with him, but Sissoko was too smart for that. Sissoko boxed beautifully. He's on about going down to welterweight, you know, cutting that extra 7 pound and going back down and going down to welterweight. You know, if you can make the weight, fair enough. you know, he's not exactly a massive, he's not exactly a massive junior middle. I just think for me, it's a punching power, and I wonder though, if he cuts that £7, is he going to be any more aggressive? Is that going to affect his punch output? Because I think if he cuts that way, it will. I don't think he'll let his hands go, and he's not really doing that at the moment. I like to see him a lot more aggressive in fights. I like to see him throw his hands a lot more. I think he can really make statements. He hits hard enough to get his opponent's respect. And because he's so accurate with his punches, he picks the right spots. And if he hits someone in the right spot at the jaw, I do think they'll go. For me, I think Valenzuela was there for the taking in the later rounds. He was hitting him so clean so often. I think it stepped up on the gas. You would have got him out of there. But, he got the 12-round decision and he looked quite good. But there's some good fights for him at 154, and don't forget we've got the undisputed fight between Castano and Charlo as well. We've got that second fight. So if they both move up after that, or he could be in line next. Yeah, he's an interesting one because he's got two divisions he can look at. I don't think he beats the top guys at welterweight, and I don't think he's ready for the top guys at super welterweight either. But we'll have to see. But guys, this was a great card. I like this card a lot because there was some nice slick boxing, which I like, but also some real come forward, inside fighting, aggression, and a knockout as well. So, guys, look out for the content coming up in the next couple of days. Take care. See you later.